Okay. Activate present. Okay, very slow. How are y'all feeling with the material so far? Language okay? Dev okay? They kind of go hand in hand. Yeah? He's taking forever on language, so y'all have no reason to not review notes and get this down, for real. It was supposed to be covered in, like, what, 2 lectures, and he's covering it in, like, 3 or 4. Be grateful, because that means you have less on your final and less on your next exam. But that also means that you'll have to know every bit of this material because you have less material on the exam. It's going to be more specific. Okay. We're going to get started. Okay, so yeah, we have to do poll everywhere now because y'all just couldn't do Menti. L on our part, but yeah. Okay. So these are cool videos. You can look them up when you look over the slides on Brightspace, but I'm just going to get started. We have a lot to cover today, so I'm just going to skip through this. Should I wait for more people to show up? Do you want to talk to each other? I'm seeing some no's. Okay, I'm going to skip straight into the lecture then. If you don't remember this kind of developmental stuff, remember that this isn't your last chance to cover it. He's still covering it in class. It'll be on Monday and Wednesday's lecture will be on developmental. You guys are ahead, so y'all should know everything coming out of his mouth already. And if you don't, remember that there is a developmental lecture on YouTube. Just literally look up my name, Natalie Choi. You'll find my YouTube channel. I just post it there instead of on Brightspace because it's easier, and yeah, I don't care. Okay, so today we're going to cover language. It is a lot, so let's get started. So, there is a TikTok video on how to build an UWU language, but I thought it was perfect because it told us all that we need to know to make that language. So the first thing he says is that there's, there is the sound, oo, woo. Those are 2 sounds that, that break into phonetics. It's the smallest kind of block in the entire grand scheme of language. So oo and woo would be the phonology side. But that's not all there is to language. We also know that it has to have meaning. Like, what does uwu mean? What does uwu mean when you put it together with another uwu? You know, he made a whole language out of it. And it even had grammar, okay? It had present tense, it had past tense. There was an order to how there was like a subject, verb, object, that kind of stuff. It was crazy. And then lastly, it was a whole community, I think on Reddit or something, and they were talking to each other, and there was pragmatics to the UWU language and when to say a certain kind of UWU and when to not. But you should know that language kind of breaks into these 4 parts. And if you take like developmental psych or social psych, you might learn more parts to it. But for the sake of simplicity and just following Knowles' curriculum, we're just going to learn these 4 parts today. Okay? So that's our outline for today. We're also going to cover how it's learned in babies. We covered a lot about babies. I have a lot of videos on babies. We already did the Piaget stuff, so y'all should know that by now. And how it's used in real time by you. So how language kind of affects your psychology, affects how you think, and then also how it's computed in your brain. So we've got the developmental side of things in babies. We've got how it influences the way you think. And then we've also got stuff in the brain. Feel good to everyone? Okay. So, just giving a quick warm-up example. If I were to say apple, okay? It would break down into apple. Those are phonetics. That's like the sound structure in your mouth. Then you have to have meaning to that sound, you know? Like it's just some random sound that we're producing in our mouth. It's completely arbitrary, but we still assign meaning to it. It's actually what makes us different from animals, you know? What they do is directly correlated to its meaning. For example, the bees do like a bee waggle dance, but it's directly correlated to like the location of a certain flower and like the way they like move their hips and stuff. It's weird, but that's like a direct correlation. We are more abstract than that. We are cooler than that. We can make brand new random ass sounds and connect them to concepts. And then of course we have syntax and grammar, and that just makes what we say so much more efficient. You know, if we didn't have grammar and we had to like explain every little aspect, then it would take forever. But we can imply what we mean in the way we organize it. For example, eat an apple. And then we have pragmatics, because we're a social species. Think about how bitch changes from topic to topic, or like situation to situation. Like if someone says like bitch, it can be a good thing, but if someone says like bitch, it's not good. It's not good, you know? And that's like a social aspect to language. We are able to do that. Monkeys can't do that. They don't have sass. They don't have irony, okay? That's us, pragmatics, okay? Feel good to people? Good? I know I'm covering this quick. It's because we got a lot, and we're going to break it down. Okay, so the first one is phonetics, sound. I break it into 4 points. You can do it however you want, but I think these are the 4 most important parts to phonetics. It's that babies originally can differentiate plentiful phonetics from any language around the world. They're born like international speakers. They can decipher like different phonetics from France and Hindi and English and Mandarin. Is crazy, because you never know where you're gonna be born, right? Like, you can't just think like, I'm a fetus and I know I'm gonna be a French fetus or a French baby one day. Like, you gotta be prepared for anything, okay? The next point is babies solve the parsing problem through pattern detection. Y'all should know the parsing problem. He has very few distinct points, but the problems are very distinct. The reference problem and the parsing problem, okay? So if y'all didn't catch it in the lectures, you should definitely review this, because like that's distinct, and it has answers too. So like you can bet your ass it will be on the exam, okay? Parsing problem through pattern detection. We'll go into that in more detail. Don't worry if you don't understand it. Baby babbling is actually practicing for pronunciation. Is there like a secret language to babies? Are they actually communicating with each other and only they understand it? Let's find out, y'all. Let's find out. Like, how does it develop? And categorical perception. This is a very complicated topic. I know that students struggle with it every year, so we're going to go into it in a little more detail. But categorical perception is another part of phonetics. It's how we decipher it through like the most incremental difference in time, voice onset time specifically. And don't you worry if you didn't understand the graph with that, because we'll go over it. But yeah, I just wanted to introduce the idea that phonetics differ from language to language, okay? It's not just we all have the same vowels and stuff. English actually has the worst phonetics in the world. They have A, E, I, O, U, and they have irregular phonetics. I have severe dyslexia in English, but I don't have dyslexia in Mandarin. Like, I have no problem in Mandarin. Well, actually, no. I still suck a little bit in Mandarin, but that's just because of me. Like, how is it different from language to language? It has to do with the phonetics and how we break down sounds. And like, while Mandarin speakers may have difficulty with some of the pronunciations in English, I bet like English speakers cannot decipher some of the Chinese phonetics. Like, for example, ma, 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 and then ma, all have different meanings, okay? And like, if you speak that really fast, nobody can really tell the difference. Like, ma, 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 ma. Like, the difference between saying ma, which is like mother, and like ma, which is to scold, that is like the slightest incremental difference. And they did a lot of tests, and like English speakers can't really decipher it in the stream of like sound. But babies can. Like, if I just said that to a baby, they would be able to tell the difference, okay? And so this shows that babies kind of have a superpower. I'm going to skip the videos for now. You're going to have to watch these review videos on YouTube later. Nice. But yeah, there's videos. Don't you worry about it. They have the ability to differentiate phonemes from all around the world. They can tell the difference between ma, 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 and ma. They can probably differentiate a regular English R and like the Spanish. Can anyone do like the Spanish trill? Anyone speak Spanish here? I know you speak Spanish. How do you say the trill R? Do you know like the yeah, rolling your R? Like I can't do it at least. I speak English. I know that Spanish speakers can. Yeah, they can tell the difference between that. And like Japanese speakers, for example, after a while they can't tell the difference between L and R, I think. Is it L and R? But we can. Like how does that happen? Well, they're born doing everything, and then it's only through time that they start to lose this ability. They specialize in one language, the language that they're most exposed to, you know? That way, they can be born anywhere in the world. Maybe they're adopted, maybe they travel across everywhere, and they still can grow, develop, and learn that language, okay? And that's not the only superhuman thing about babies. Like, they are prepared for any stimulus ever. I want to emphasize that when they are born, they can even differentiate monkey faces. Like, you are prepared for any stimulus ever. And it's only after like a bit of time developing that you start to lose those abilities. It's like crazy. It's crazy. Okay. So, this is a graph, kind of shown in class, but I thought this did a better example of it. If you watch the videos, you'll be able to understand these pictures. But it essentially shows that like, they can differentiate the Hindi ta and ta at, I probably mispronounced that and I'm very sorry, at like 6 to 8 months. But then by like 12 months, they can't at all, barely at all. So yeah, at one point in your life, y'all could do this. Now you can't. It's too bad. So that's the first point, okay? The first P is that they can hear plentiful phonemes from a bunch of different languages. Okay? Next point. Why do we specialize? Why do we even choose one language, you know? Well, we have to get way more specific with it. We have the parsing problem. So, for example, if I were speaking Mandarin at you, and I was like, 早上好，我的名字是蔡星星，今天我是一个老师。Some of you probably wouldn't be able to parse that out because we don't have definite stops after each word. I'm not like 早上好，今天我们在看。你怎么说 parsing problems 在中文？你们知道吗？Does anyone speak Mandarin here? No one know how to say parsing problem in Mandarin? You don't, Max? No? Okay. Well, anyways, I just wanted to show that we don't speak with definite stops after each word. Babies have to parse that out themselves. They have to figure out where those like subliminal stops are. But how do they do that? They're just a baby. Like, how are they supposed to do that? Well, they do it through pattern detection. And I know this sounds like really vague, so I'm going to show you. Imagine like this is a string of sound. You're hearing this, and as a baby, you don't know any words. This would be like you only speak Hindi, and you're hearing this for the first time. Well, they're actually really cool. They can figure out like commonalities, and they can figure out patterns within the stream of sound to figure out when one word starts and another stops, okay? And over time, they start to see these similarities. They build those connections, and they're like, whoa, wait, R might be the end of something, or something like that. And so this shows like the phonetic pattern detection that they see and have. And essentially, kind of breaking that down, they are mini statisticians. We always underestimate kids, but they are able to find out those little patterns in the way you speak that we're not even like consciously telling them, like look out for the letter R or something like that. Like they can figure it out themselves. The example he gave in class, because he's very into having his own examples on tests apparently. I'm like still traumatized from the moth question. That was supposed to show something about evolution. But the sound combination galatu is what he had in class for Yeah, pattern recognition, the parsing problem, stream of sound kind of stuff, okay? So if you ever are worried about what he's going to have on the test, Galatu. Copy that down if you don't have it. Okay, ready? Everyone good? Galatu. Okay. All right, so we have done 2 Ps now. We've done that they do plentiful languages at birth. We've done the parsing problem, pattern detection. And now we are going to talk about speech production and pronunciation. So, babies talk a lot. Like, I was in a developmental psychology lab, and I was actually going insane with the amount of shit they say. It was constant noise. There was no quiet. I'm never having a child, and still interested in dev psych, but like, no to children. And they're constantly saying stuff, not because they want to annoy you, but because they're practicing language. They know that this is going to be the difference between life and death for them, you know, that they have to communicate their needs. And so they naturally will start to produce babbling, you know. They'll start to say like ba 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 ba, or they'll be like ooh, ah, and it's not just random sounds that they're doing to like freak you out. They're actually practicing. Like ooh, is vowels, guys. Like they have a language to them. They're practicing ooh, because that's our language. And they have babbling in different, like the ba or like pa or ma. That's consonants. And this happens all around the world. Like Mandarin babies will have like Mandarin phonemes to them. They'll like have different accent differences in their babbling, and it's super adorable. You should look up videos of it. They're like ma 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 ma, but in a baby tone. And so I just wanted to show that this production is important for the development of speech later on. Okay? And these are the 2 examples he gave in class. So if he asks for examples on short answer on the test, this is like valid. He could ask this, and you would have to know it. So write it down. Everyone got cooing and babbling? And if you can't write down super quick, that's pretty aight. They're posted on Brightspace, so you don't have to like worry. And this is also a video. Like, hi to the future people watching this video. You better be paying attention. It's gonna be on YouTube, because I hate Brightspace. Okay, poll everywhere. In case you have forgot, we have graduated from Menti, and now we have to do something. Wow, okay. Someone just said, what is the mnemonic? And someone said something. Okay. Yeah, in case you are wondering, this is the poll of, in case, because someone always doesn't really know how to do it, or like understand Brightspace. Like, you open Google, then you look up, you like type into your computer, poll everywhere, and then when it asks you like what to do, are you vaping in class, bro? Okay. Natalie Choi, 2003. Don't do that in other classes. You're gonna get like in trouble. Okay. Look up Natalie Choi, 2003. Okay. Feel good?
The ages that Professor Knowles gave us were a little bit different.
Was it 2 to 6? Because someone else said that
6 to
too.
11, and then 12 plus.
Yeah,
6 to
I was
12.
looking at that because most textbooks will say 2 to 6, but sometimes they say, no, most textbooks will say 2 to 7, but sometimes it'll say 6. I don't think he's going to be that specific, and I can check with him today because it goes either way. I think it's because Piaget originally said 7, and then he did further research or something. But if you were to put down 2 to 7, you would not lose points. Mm-hmm. And if you do, come to me, because I have some stuff to say. Also, congratulations to all of you for fighting for your points. Congratulations to each one of you that filed a complaint because the system got overwhelmed and then they had to reconsider like their entire test. I also presented like all the problems that y'all got wrong, and like more than 2/3 of you missed that one question about Weber's law and like brightness, contrast, discrimination or something. And so shout out to all of you because you guys were crucial in getting that 9-point raise. Actually, applaud everyone. Everyone give each other applause. Okay. Special shout out to, let's see, Andrew, who's not here, but he literally cited research in why he should get the points back, which is crazy. And Andre for coming to office hours, literally to fight and do an argument. So, y'all did that. That was you. Okay? Congratulations. And also, this is the last day to ask for points, okay? So, like, if you come to me tomorrow and you're like, oh my god, I have an argument, blah, 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 I can't help you, okay? This is my disclaimer. You cannot come at me tomorrow, okay? Y'all got that? Okay. Let me focus back on poll everywhere. I'm skipping this one. I'm skipping this one. Okay. Recap. I hope y'all know this answer. Please. Type in your name when you register so I can count you in attendance. Okay. That's really great. I'd be really upset if y'all didn't get this question right and said it was like syntax or something. I'd be very upset. Congratulations. Oh, come on. Bro. Okay, I'm just gonna say it one more time. We're talking about the 4 Ps. Which one starts with a P and an H? Phonetics. Phonetics does. Not semantic meaning. Whoever said that, I'm concerned. Leave it out. Okay. Whoa, what happened? Okay, wait. This is not yet. We're not doing that yet. Wait, alright. Where did it go? I don't know why Paul ever hates me. We're gonna do... Okay, yeah, this is the question. Slay. Okay, how is the parsing problem solved? Okay? We got the one problem, and then now we got, the answer. Yeah. This is a trick question, okay? Like, they might throw this in. This is something they do. The answer is just statistically tracking these patterns, okay? Don't get tricked up. I saw some of you fell for the same tricks on the test. Like that one about perception versus sensation. We covered that, and y'all got, most of y'all got that wrong. I was like, he just tried to trick you, and you guys fell for it. So that's on you. I covered it. Okay. And I'm gonna go back to this. So, last P, okay? We already covered, okay, I'm gonna stop drinking this coffee because I'm getting it everywhere. We already covered plentiful languages. We already covered the parsing problem, which is solved through pattern detection. We're gonna cover pattern, categorical perception. Okay, so do y'all remember this graph from class? It's a tricky one. People struggle with this. Unless, can anyone explain it now? That would be like crazy if y'all could do categorical perception right now. I'm not gonna offer extra credit for this, even though I really want to. Yes?
It's the voice onset time.
Yes, and what is voice onset time?
When vibrations leave your vocal cords and microphone, the sound is really long.
Damn, I have nothing more to teach you. You can leave now if you want. Like, I'll count you as here. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna explain it again. You did amazing. But everyone put your hand on your throat right now. So everyone feel that kind of vibrational, like feeling right here when you're speaking. And then if you put your hands on your lips, you can kind of feel there's a difference from when you start to vibrate in your throat to when you pronounce it with your lips, okay? I'm gonna show this in an example. For example, cat, okay? Cat. You can kind of feel there's a longer voice onset time. Or for Mandarin speakers, ping, p. It starts with the p, and then you have an ing, and there's a difference between that, okay? compare that to dog or ba, where it's kind of like very close together. Dog happens at the same time almost, or ba, 8. That is a shorter voice onset time. And if you guys are still confused, I can show it. This is a really cool thing, and I really love messing with this, whatever it is. It's like, it reacts to you, it's crazy. But they have the same sound, okay? And they tested a shit ton of people, and they were like, can you tell the difference between this sound and this sound? Like, is it 2 different consonants? And people are like, yeah, of course it is. So let me play it for you guys right now. So, what does this sound like to you guys? Versus what does this one sound like? Da, right? But then what about like ta? It's the same sound. All they did is like lengthen or shorten it. Isn't that weird? Okay. And so what they did is they put this on a graph, okay? They were like, okay, if it's the same sound, then like why are y'all like having different reactions to it? Like, so at like negative whatever, negative 10, okay? Y'all still think like the sound is what? Ta or da? Da. Okay, so like this is like 100%, and you all think it's da, and 0% think it's ta. Speak now or forever hold your silence. Everyone feel good about that? So 0%. Okay. Just reminding you. Versus. Okay, what about this one? Still da or still ta? Da. You're still feeling da? Okay. Still da. Okay. What about da or ta? Ta? Or da? I hear da. Do y'all hear ta? I should do a poll or something. Is it okay? Raise your hand if you think it's ta. Okay, raise your hand if you think it's da. It's like 50-50. Okay, so look, this rises up to 50, and then this goes down to 50, okay? And then in this point, you guys can't decide. It's split half-half, you know? It's like an optical illusion, but like with sound, okay? It's like the dress, you know? If it's like blue and whatever, or like gold and whatever. What about this one? Do you hear da or ta? Raise your hand for da. Raise your hand for ta. I still hear da. Okay, so like ta just like hit 100. Or maybe 99 because it's just me. But like, look, in like just a couple like seconds, y'all have changed your mind about it. That's what that graph is doing, okay? It's showing that at a certain point, it changes. So, going back to this, does this graph make more sense now? How there's like a difference in the voice onset time and how that changes your perception, how the way you categorize that sound changes? Feel good? Slay? Okay. Yeah, and then there's always like that 1 or 2 outliers that are like, can't make up my mind. That's me right there. But yeah, it's super weird, and babies do this. Isn't that crazy? They kind of figure out that like slight difference, and they can hear that difference and then figure out what phoneme like you're trying to say. It's crazy. But yeah, for the people who like words, voice onset time is the time interval from when that consonant sound is like in your vocal cords to when it hits your mouth. And categorical perception is like that ability to differentiate ba and ta because of voice onset time. Feel good about that. You can write it down right now because I know it's kind of complicated. And you can feel free to go. This link will be in the slides so you can do your own experiment, figure out when it is for you. But yeah. He had this under the point of detection and discrimination, which I'm like, okay, sure. What you really need to know is like the key term in an example. So yeah, if he asks about this detection and discrimination, just know that he's talking about this. Okay? And to make sure y'all were paying attention, we're gonna go back to this, and hopefully Poll Everywhere doesn't hate me. Pretty please. I don't know why it restarts every damn time. Just please work with me. We're gonna skip a billion slides. Please. How's the parsing problem solved? Okay. What is the primary difference between phonemes ba and pa? Okay. Okay, slay. Very slay. These are other trick questions, okay? None of these actually really describe voice onset time, which is from vocal cords to mouth, okay? This is just vocal cords. Whoever chose this one, like, y'all are like forgetting that you have to also produce it with your mouth. The shape of your tongue, that's another trick question. I said nothing about tongues. The pressure of air released from the lips, that's just about the lips. Voice onset time, okay? Y'all feel good? Let's do another Poll Everywhere. Okay, what does voice onset time refer to? Sometimes it just says lips. Sometimes it just says like volume or pitch, you know. Don't get confused. There's some kind of delay from the difference between cat and dog, where it's like, okay? Feel good? Not getting tricked up on the day of the test, hopefully? Okay, I don't know what that question is. Okay, what about this? Imagine that was like 20 milliseconds. That was 20 milliseconds. He might just give an example, and you have to know that it's this, okay? He might just say some random ass number and some random ass 2 different syllables, but you'll have to know like this key concept and apply it to whatever question he asks, okay? Good. I love when my students listen to me. So slay. Okay, don't answer that. We're not there yet. Okay. Why does it restart, bro? I have a vendetta against Poll Everywhere. Okay, and just like that, we covered phonetics. Slay, the four P's, okay? That babies can differentiate phonetics plentifully at birth. They're a universal listener. That baby babbling is actually production, and it's practicing for future pronunciation. A lot of P's. That's on purpose. And the parsing problem is solved through pattern detection, where there are like little statisticians, and they're figuring out that little pattern in your stream of sound. And then categorical perception, which we just covered, so I don't feel like covering it again. Yeah. Any questions about that? Okay, because we're going to have to move hella fast today. Semantic meaning. All right, we're going to talk about this. This doesn't really have a cool mnemonic to it. It's just like 3 points. That's why. So what makes us different from animals? We have this like vocabulary explosion where like babies like at one point like can't really say that much, and then suddenly they're like speaking crazy. That happens in babies. Does it show that we just are primed for it? Let's find out. The reference problem, there's 2 problems in this class that he made very, very abundantly clear to the point where you can bet that you'll be quizzed on it at some point. The referencing problem and the parsing problem. You should know the answer to that. I categorize it as nibs. You can categorize it however you want, but novelty, intentionality, the basic level of category, I think. Category hierarchy. And then social referencing? Is it social referencing? Yeah, okay, sorry. And then also, Burkus and Wernicke's aphasia. And I love that shit because I'm going into neuropsychology, so I love the aphasias and when people get like K-barbecued through the head. But yeah, let's get into it. So, he showed this graph. I like graphs. I think that he made quiz on it. But anyways, you can just see that around 18 months, they like suddenly start learning like crazy. And they like whoosh, suddenly are learning like 1,300 words. Period. Yeah. Just know they have an explosion. Monkeys don't, okay? They were trying to figure out like if monkeys have a secret language, if they're as cool as we are, and no, they don't. So that kind of shows that human brains might have something that makes our species exclusively cooler than theirs. That's what makes us different from animals, okay? We have a language, but not only do we have a language, but it looks like we're almost primed for language, the way that it just like absurdly shoots up. And also we have like specialized parts in our brains. Like it's not really a fair comparison because they don't have Broca's area, they don't have Wernicke's area. They're like, the part of their brain for speech is like definitely smaller. It's like that big, whereas we have like this much. So like an absurd amount of our brain is for language. Let's move on. The reference problem. So, the question is, how do babies attach the sound of a name to an object? Imagine you're just a little fetus and you're trying to, not a fetus, you're just a little baby and you are trying to learn. If I say, gaga, and you don't know any words, how do you know what I'm talking about? If I just point at someone at random, I'm like, Shishan, like how do you know what that means? Well, they do it through nibs. Novelty matching, intentionality, basic level of category assumption, and I know that's slightly different than what he taught in class, but it's still the same thing, I promise, and I'm going to show you how. And then social referencing, okay? So let's break it down. Imagine you are this baby. You're in like maybe some foreign land, okay? You're just trying to learn the language. Like, study abroad programs are crazy here. Y'all should do that at some point. Learn a different language. And someone points at some random object and they're like, blah, blah, in some random language. How are you gonna know? Well, you can use these. You can use these strategies to learn a new language when you study abroad. Novelty matching. So if I point at that object, I'm like, 电话, okay? People and specifically babies are gonna be like, okay, well, I already know that's a clock and I already know like that's a door. And so if there's one object that I still don't have a novel word for, I'm gonna assume that that brand new word that came out of my mouth is associated with that new object, okay? If you still don't understand, just think, they don't assign two names to the same thing. One name for one object. One name for one object, okay? If an object doesn't have a name, they're gonna assume that that brand new sound that I made out of my throat, like 电话, is associated with that new object. By the way, I'm just saying like telephone in Mandarin, I'm pretty sure. Or Mandarin sucks, so yeah. Intentionality. If I say, Ishan, whoops, oh my god, that's not an Ishan, then they're gonna assume like, oh, I see, you just made a mistake. I'm not gonna assume that in my pattern detection, or I'm not gonna assume that when I'm like learning languages. Like, we all make mistakes, it's okay. The example he gave in class was like dropping something down a slide and saying, whoops, galatu, and the baby's gonna be like, nah, I got you, don't worry, I know you made a mistake. I won't learn that, it's okay. It's specifically for verbs. And then category hierarchy, which we're gonna explain in a picture. Let me show you this. So, this is basically assuming that when you say a brand new word, babies are not gonna think that it's like some really abstract concept in the taxonomic tree or a really specific object. If I point to something furry on the ground on a leash and I'm like, dog, they're not gonna assume, oh, she's talking about the mix of a golden retriever and German shepherd, or like that is the complex mammal category in the taxonomy tree. There's a basic level of categorization that they have found across all languages, across all words. It's the most general, most common name for things. And this is called the basic level of categorization. They're gonna assume dog is this level, okay? That feel good? Not too specific, not too vague / categorical. They're not gonna be like, yes, that is a mammal because it is not in the water. They're gonna think, yeah, that's a dog. Okay, and the last one is social referencing. So, for example, I was a behavioral therapist for a time, and I was teaching my kid's sign language and trying to transfer him over to just sounds and words. And I said, oh, go look, it's a truck. Can you bring that to me? And I pointed over, and he there's a whole bunch of toys, and he picked up the truck, and he was really unsure, and he looked back at me, and I was like, you got this, yes, that's what I mean. And then he brought it over, and he was like, okay, cool, slay. And I was like, that is social referencing. It basically means that they're gonna look at you for confirmation. They're always observing you. They're always gonna see oh, is she pointing at that? Is she pointing at that? Oh my gosh. They use you a lot when they're learning new language, okay? Think about when you're having a conversation with somebody in a language that you're not too familiar with. You're using them as a resource to learn and figure out what they're referencing and stuff like that, okay? So that's NIBS. Everyone take a moment and write this down, please, because you can bet your ass it will be on the exam. The problems will probably be on the exam. So if you think that you can just memorize it by looking at it, then you don't have to write it down. But if you don't have a photographic memory, write it down. And if you need paper, I guess I have paper too. Okay. I think I actually have your notes. I have everyone's notes if they need it. Here's guided notes, actually. Here, use it. Has the 4 keys and everything. I didn't get through everything I wanted last week, so kind of messed up on that part, but that's my L. Still confused? The charts exist if you need examples and stuff. In case you're wondering, I make charts. The link is on Brightspace. I hope you know how to use that. Wait, actually, let me show you because I made a new tab and it confused a lot of people. But essentially, you know how we had that test? I just separated it, okay, by test. So this stuff you don't have to really know anymore until you have to study for the final. But there should be tabs here. I don't know why it's not loading. Give it a second. Okay, there it goes. You gotta move over to the developmental language section, okay? Yeah, slay. I love when people know that charts exist. It makes me really happy. Yeah, and then you can just scroll down and then, whoa, look, it's all the notes ever. Down here, chilling, hanging out. And then, yeah, more notes, okay? Cool, slay. Okay, pull everywhere. And let's see if pull everywhere doesn't hate me. Yeah, it does. Okay, that's fair. Okay. Please work with me. Please don't do this. Just work. Please. Sorry, give me a second. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. One more. No, I don't care about this. Wait, no. Okay, here it is. What does NIB stand for? Or if you don't want to memorize the acronym, just tell me. How's it solved in 4 ways? There's a reason why I'm asking you this over and over and over again. Hint, hint. There's a reason why I'll spend a minute waiting for answers. And by the way, just to be Big Brother E, I can track who responds and who doesn't respond. So if you are not participating, I can tell. Ominously. Remember that there's 4. Yeah, slay. Wow, damn, okay. Someone just copied and pasted. Or did they? Now I kind of feel bad. That was you? Oh. Oh, wow. You wrote that much? That's impressive, dude. You just are really quick at typing then. Damn. Okay, I'm so sorry. I stand corrected. Maybe I'm just a slow typer then. Damn. Okay, well, I'm gonna star that one. Damn, that's crazy. Slay. Go Vidant for typing insanely fast. I'm impressed. You need to do something with that skill, dude. You could be a medical scribe. Okay. Yeah, I spelled significance wrong. I have dyslexia. I blame phonetics. But y'all should still know this one. You can use deduction in this too. Is it the highest level? There's a superordinate one, and then there's a subordinate one, and then in the middle there's basic. We got it? We feel good? It's like it's trying to solve the reference problem, y'all. It's trying to solve the ambiguity when I point and say, like they don't know what I'm talking about, you know? We feel good about that? Not tripped up by the other ones? The reason why I'm doing so many multiple choice is because I really notice that y'all are getting like tripped up when you know the answer. Because you guys did really well in like the short answer. So I know you guys know the answer. It's the tripping up part that's like lowering everyone's grade. But y'all had a great average. Y'all had an average of like 86 or 87 this time around, which is pretty chill. Okay. No, not yet. Okay. Next up. Okay, and then also we're gonna talk about Broca and Wernicke's aphasia. And, whoa, what just happened? It just skipped. Okay. So essentially, if you remember from class, one girl had a stroke, and when asked, like, what did you do today? She could comprehend, but she had lost the ability to speak, okay? She was like, park, me, or school, or something like that. And then the other guy, you would ask, like, how's your day today? And he was like, oh yeah, computer, TV, like drawing, iPad, da 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 da. And he could speak really fluently, but like at the same time, like it didn't make any sense, you know? And so this shows that there are two different parts of your brain, okay? One for comprehending what people say to you and like knowing how to like read and stuff, and then there's another one that is only like for speaking and syntax and grammar. So I ask you guys, like, what do you think is worse? Not being able to understand what anyone says, but being able to speak? Or comprehending and hearing and knowing what they're asking you and not being able to respond? Like, that's kind of dark, bro. I guess I would want to know what everyone's saying, but not be able to speak back in a semantically syntaxy way. But like, either way, it's kind of crazy. But just know you have two parts of your brain. They're separated. One for semantic meaning, knowing what's going on, and then one for syntax. And so, if that Broca's area is like busted, like imagine there's a lesion, it exploded, there's hemorrhaging all over the place. McDreamy comes in and fixes it up, but you still have a aphasia and you cannot speak fluently. You're having trouble making those grammatical sentences. You can't parse together and be like, I went to the park today. It's just park. Today, maybe. Okay? And then, imagine if you have another hemorrhage, different patient. McDreamy still fixes you up, but then because you got that Wernicke's area right here, busted, like, you cannot comprehend what anyone ever says. Ever again. And what's worse is you don't even know that you have a deficit, because to know that you're saying something wrong, someone has to tell you, you know? But if you don't know what they're saying, you'll never know that you're saying stuff wrong. It's kind of crazy. They'll just obliviously think that they're saying everything perfectly because they cannot hear people when they're like, yo, what is going on with you? Like, y'all need to get some help. Like, bro, they can't comprehend it. So, Broca's aphasia, I would prefer, please. Please and thank you. But yeah, if you're confused about that, he also showed 2 videos in class, and on the YouTube video, I also showed Mandarin aphasia to show that it's like in any language ever. Yeah, Mandarin has grammar. It's pretty cool. Okay, poll everywhere. Please. I can't do this again. I can't. Okay, I'm not going through 15 freaking questions. I'm just gonna. Okay. Last question. And then let me see how many slides I have left because it's time for your comprehension check. Okay, are you all answering? Because this is activated now. Yeah, you should be answering that. Go look at your slides. Okay, let me see. I think I got through a good chunk. Yeah. We didn't get the syntax, which is pretty all right, considering he took like 4 lectures to teach you all this, so I'm not sweating it. But yeah. Good. Wait. Yeah. Don't get tripped up. Don't get tripped up. Comprehension is the ability to understand what others are saying, okay? When they say comprehension, it's what people are saying. And then grammar is like not being able to say full sentences, not knowing how to parse that sentence together. Okay? Feeling good about that? Great. All right. Any questions before I give you all your comp quiz? Feeling good? This is your time. No? All right, line up. No one bombard me or I'm going to be pissed. Also, come get your super easy recall quiz stuff. They've been done. Actually, here.
Thank you.
I'm going to also give you this. Okay. Andrew is not here today. Imani, I'm going to pass this out first. Imani, come here. Samantha. You know what's actually really cool? I'm going to give you guys random quizzes. You find the people that is assigned to it, okay? And that way we just do it really, really quickly. Okay, so find that person. Find that person. Find that person. Find this person. Find this person. Find this person. Find this person. It's going to be so quick, guys. It's going to be crazy quick. Find this person. Find this person.
Harry?
That person. I was supposed to give it to.
Yeah, that's.
Find this person. Oh, Alan's right there, actually. Alan. Okay, find this person.
Who's is Irene?
Y'all don't know each other? This is devastating, y'all.
Like barely spoken to each other.
How have you barely spoken to each other in this class? You guys are each other's greatest resources. I'm not helping with this. Like, y'all have to know each other.
I didn't take this actually, so
Okay, then
do I need to see you?
still find that person, though. Laura's not here, actually. You can give that back to me. Okay. Kevin? Yeah. Are you hanging in the back so you don't have to give someone a paper? Okay. Oh, wait, Amy. I see you. Amy's here today. Okay. Abdul's not here today. I'm sorry. I fucked you up. Okay, Nora's not here. Andre's not. Andre's here. Okay. I have a pencil. Remember a pencil on quiz day. You're gonna be fucked. Also, don't bring pens because it will mess up the Scantron, and then I will have to manually grade it because you will get an F. Okay? Don't do that. Okay. And yes, I have a pencil. Okay. I think I have a pencil. Anyone have a pencil for her? JK, I do. Okay. Okay, now everyone. Yes, I have an extra pencil.